So you're in favour of the United States seizing EU territory?
Yes, because I'm in favour of, NATO.
Astonishing.
Because I don't like the idea of Russia and China having a greater control over my ability to turn the lights on.
Does it?
In this video, a Labour councillor tries to trap a strategist by asking if he'd let Donald Trump seize Wales. He expected a no, but he got a brutal reality check instead. Peter Barnes exposes just how weak Britain has become under the current system. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now let's watch this together, and I'll share my thoughts at the end.
Of Labour councillor and commentator Sebastian Salek. Lovely to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Peter Barnes, political strategist and broadcaster and talk regular. Great to see you as well.
Nice to see you.
Is this an awkward moment for Trump supporters, given the fact that he's got designs on a NATO territory and is threatening tariffs on Western allies if he doesn't get it?
It is, if you don't understand why he's doing it. Basically, I find it quite hilarious that Europe has lost its mind again when it has not done what it was required to do. Donald Trump is doing this purely because we have a £28 billion black hole in our defences. How? Why? Donald Trump is literally having to force Europe yet again to get its house in order while we play around with digital ID. He's got to deal with Russia and China. It is absolutely beyond understanding to me that yet again we're having this argument about Donald Trump is walking away from NATO. We're so far out of the room we can't even tell what building we're in when it comes to NATO anymore. It is. I spent most of the week with Americans dealing with this from NATO and from the Republican side of things, and the State Department is apoplectic with the Foreign Office and the MOD for not being able to get the Downing Street into line on this. It's interesting how everybody's coalesced behind this. Donald Trump has done this and that because he's the easy bad guy. He's the pantomime villain for a lot of this, and he plays well in the press. The reality is we are so far behind, it is actually quite scary, and he's doing this with Greenland because he's got to secure the trade routes, the oil supplies, and all of this stuff, because I hate to break it to you, war, not necessarily a kind of grand war, but more geopolitical instability is a certainty, and playing around with digital ID and, all this kind of domestic spending, it's not the primary focus right now, and it can't be. So to be honest, it's not that it won't, it can't.
Sebastian, what do you think about this clumsy execution but the right motivation behind the White House's latest move? What do you think?
You know what, Matt, I come on this channel a lot, and a lot of the time my message is it's not as simple as it looks. It is more complicated. Read the story, interrogate, understand what's going on. I think this time it really is that simple. It is the fact that the President of the US is going after EU territory, and we should be really worried about that. Not only is he making a claim for land that isn't his, he is threatening us with tariffs. He's threatening our allies with tariffs. And this is really, I think, the start, if it carries on like this, of a big rift with arguably our greatest ally. We should be incredibly scared.
Looking to do.
They basically want Europe to have a significantly increased presence in Greenland and along that strait. It's not just the Greenland area, it's right along that area.
But wait a minute, they want Greenland to be part of the United States, territorially, politically, geographically.
That is a threat. That's the threat. That's the typical Trumpian. I'm going to do this mad thing, so you will do what I need you to do to get up to the line.
But should he do that? If it comes to it, should he take Greenland?
If necessary, I do think that we're going to have to see it, because we've had to see it.
So you're in favour of the United States seizing EU territory?
Yes, because I'm in favour of NATO.
Astonishing.
Because I don't like the idea of Russia and China having a greater control over my ability to turn the lights on. Does it
set a dangerous precedent for America to appropriate Greenland?
The precedent is already there. This idea of the breakdown of America going rogue, it's been there since the early 90s.
If the US came for Wales, for example, would you be in support of that?
Well, it's completely different, because what is a strategic advantage? And
assume Wales were a strategic asset.
No, we shouldn't really get forced into these kind of false
dichotomies. Why not?
Because the analysis and the analogy isn't there.
But do you believe in the principle?
No, it's not the principle.
If the UK had a strategic asset.
Sebastian, don't try me in the narrative, because that's not right. This is vastly more complicated than Trump bad. You're reducing it down to something that is so simple.
Yes, it is that simple. The US should not be seizing land from EU allies, and you're skirting around that, and that really disturbs that.
I've openly said they should. So let's not say I'm not skirting around.
And that's why I'm asking you, if they can come for Denmark's assets, should they come for the UK's assets?
Well, they already have the UK's assets. We don't have any assets.
But should they? In principle, should they? Do you believe in the principle of the US coming for UK assets?
Yes, because NATO.
Yes.
Because we have a responsibility to everybody else, and we have failed.
So your allegiances lie with the US and not with the UK?
No, my allegiances lie with being able to turn the lights lights on.
Well, you've just said that you think it's okay for the US to seize UK land.
Yes, of course it does.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
I don't understand why you're so surprised by this.
Stunned by
Peter,
it.
territory. Some might say, whose side are you on? You know, pick a side. USA.
Oh yeah, completely.
Biggest
I'm really concerned that there is
democracy
a
in the
growing
world.
constituency of Trump supporters in this country, and I want to see them come out today and say, what side are you on?
I'd ask the same thing to the Labour Party, if I'm being brutally honest, because
Well,
I'm
I'm
looking at
focused
that.
on Trump
Well,
supporters.
no,
No,
so
I'm
that's
focused
whose
on
side
Labour
are you on?
supporters.
USA or China/Russia?
I'm on the side of the UK. And what
That doesn't
That's
answer
a
my.
bit-
That doesn't answer my question.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, which side is the Labour Party on for starters? Because if you really cared about this issue, where have you been on geopolitics and global security? Absolutely no. You can't support the English the channel. You've literally about to have the super embassy smack bang in the middle of London. You've recognised the state of Palestine. We're basically being kicked out of the Five Eyes programme because of Starmer.
Yet
so
you support Trump taking, in theory, UK assets, and that scares the living daylights out
because
of
yet
me.
again, the Labour
I stand
Party
with
is
the
not
UK,
taking
and I stand with our
accountability.
close allies here
Yes,
in Europe.
yes.
Here in Europe.
Peter, do you not think you've jumped the shark a bit by
No.
offering Wales to Donald Trump?
Oh, well, do you know what? I wish I had.
Gonna get some angry callers today.
Yeah, however, I don't think I am, if I'm being brilliant, because I think the reality is lots of people understand that when you put Chinese super embassies in the middle of London, despite everybody telling you it is a silly idea, and David Lammy, when he was Foreign Secretary, pushed ahead with it, Keir Starmer has kicked the can down the road so he can announce it on the 27th in China. America is perfectly right to say, well, whose side are you on? This is absolutely ridiculous. We recognise the state of Palestine whilst hostages were still there, and that was, he basically didn't tell Donald Trump he was going to do it a day before he was
But wait
with
a minute,
it.
are you
It is
sure?
just literally,
In a
I've got
trade
to
war,
respond.
hang on, let's just be really clear about this. In a trade war between the US and the UK, you are on the US side.
Well, we already have those tariffs thanks to the fact that we have a worse deal with the
No, no, no,
Americans than we
answer
do
the
now. So,
question.
look,
Are you on the side of the US?
It's not on the side,
Well,
Sebastian.
of course it is. If
Again,
you're saying I
here
support
we go
US
again.
tariffs,
Here we
you
go.
are on the side of the US.
Here we go. Let's reduce it down to simply.
You have a secret passport you're not telling us about.
No, because here we go again. Absolutely exhausting. Because the reality is, Sebastian, you
My
don't
God.
understand the issue because it is vastly more serious than Trump bad, and that's the big problem I have with so many people talking about this. It is not domestic politics.
Peter, you.
Open AI, so yeah.
Okay, well, look, I've got a difficult question for both of you then. So, Peter, whose side are you on, the United Kingdom or America?
At the moment, America's, because I don't think the United Kingdom is in support of the United
Right.
Kingdom.
Well, listen, Sebastian's got his gotcha there, but this is awkward for you, Sebastian. Whose
Go
side
on.
are you on, China, Russia, or USA?
On balance, you always have to side with the US, but right now it's incredibly concerning that they're using these kind of bullying tactics.
So you're agreeing with
Well,
me?
for me, if it's a face-off with China/Russia and USA, then it's for me USA.
So I win.
Wait,
I'm so
well,
isolated.
For me, it's
on my
USA
own.
by any
There
by
is
any
so
means.
much to unpack there, but I want to focus on 3 points that just happened because they perfectly explain why the West is in decline. Point number 1, the traitor trap backfired. You saw what Sebastian, the Labour councillor, tried to do. It's the oldest trick in the book. He tried to frame Peter Barnes as a traitor to Britain. He asked that ridiculous question, would you let the US seize Wales? He thought Peter would panic and back down, but Peter didn't panic. He looked him in the eye and essentially said, yes, if it keeps the lights on. Now the media will scream about that. They'll say, oh look, the right wants to give away our country. But they are missing the point. Peter isn't wanting to give away Wales. He is highlighting a tragedy. We have become a protectorate, not a power. When you have a £28 billion black hole in your defences, you don't get to dictate terms to the superpower that protects you. That is the cold, hard reality that Labour refuses to accept. Point number 2, the distraction. Did you catch what Peter said about why we are in this mess? He mentioned digital ID and welfare. While Russia and China are building icebreakers and securing trade routes in the Arctic, our political class is obsessing over pronouns, diversity quotas, and tracking their own citizens with digital IDs. We are spending billions on bureaucracy while our ammunition stockpiles run empty. Peter Barnes is right. You cannot fight a geopolitical war with a welfare state mentality. Trump knows this. Putin knows this. But clearly, the Labour Party still thinks international law is a magic shield that protects you. It isn't. And finally, point number 3, the total humiliation. This was my favourite part. After 10 minutes of grandstanding, after 10 minutes of calling Peter a bully and whining about Trump, Andre Walker asks the ultimate question, whose side are you on, China or the USA? And what did the Labour councillor say? He folded. He admitted he would side with the US. So, what was the argument about? He spent the whole interview attacking the US, only to admit that when the chips are down, he needs them just as much as we do. It proves that all this outrage about Trump bullying Europe is just performance art. They hate him, but they need him because they are too weak to defend themselves. We need to decide, are we going to be a serious country that defends itself, or are we going to rely on America forever and then complain when they ask for rent? What do you think? Was Peter Barnes a traitor for his comments on Wales, or is he the only realist in the room? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.